Hey guys, it's Melissa and welcome back to Granted Gardens. Today, it's a little bit of a chilly spring day, but the sun's out and it's not too hot, it's not too cold, so I've got a cup of tea and I'm out in the garden. I thought we'd talk a little bit about what our planning process looks like when it comes to planning the garden. My go-to for anything planning is this little garden book. I think I picked this up from like TJ Maxx, Home Goods a couple years ago, and essentially I keep some of my notes of my plants that I've purchased. My roses are in here, the greenhouse information's in here, and then just notes of what I've planted that year, where I was planning on planting them, and like what location. I have notes of different plants that I knew I wanted to get. If I don't have the seeds stocked, I'll make notes of what I want to do next year if I come across stuff. So Tyler and I both have a little journal like this that we keep track of all of our garden stuff. He probably does a better job than I do of really getting into details and tracking things, because I think a lot of his memory bank goes into that notebook. A lot of my stuff I make videos on, so this is really just more for journaling and inspirational purposes than documentation. But it's nice to go through and see, you know, I'll say how many of each seed I planted for the starts and how many actually germinated, where I got the seeds from and such. So today I'm outside and it's Sunday and I just really wanted to come outside. I think there's a lot going on in the world and this is what makes me happy, is being out here. So I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna rake out some of these dead leaves in the garden. We've got a ton of them over in the corners. I might start weeding some of the garden beds and possibly pulling some of the weeds that are coming through this fence line that, if you watch our videos, is a constant struggle. But I'm gonna probably work on some of that stuff. I brought out some of my little decorations. I got my table out here this year, and I started putting out some pots that we have hanging on the fence line. Little things like that, just because I just am so ready to like do something out here. But it's gonna be too cold still for us. Like, we still have about a month and a half before we can really bring anything outside and plant it. Tyler has been very eager and he's been doing some experiments with bringing out his cabbages, and then we've got kale popping back up from last year in some of the garden beds that we might just let go and keep. And then we have some cabbages that I planted for our fall garden last year that are still alive and still growing. So I'll give you some quick shots of those along the way. But other than that, I'm really just going to try and clean up a little bit today. I'll give you some shots of what we're doing. And I wanted to ask you guys, you know, what you guys are doing in the garden. If you're a gardener and you're eagerly awaiting the time to start putting stuff in the ground, other than just cleaning up the beds, what are some stuff that you like to do outside during this waiting period? I would love to hear about it if you have any ideas. We're eager to find some stuff. I know we've also been researching a lot of like garden art ideas, so we can't put plants in the ground, so we're looking for absolutely any excuse that we possibly can get to just be outside and like make stuff. So if you have any fun garden art projects, I would love to see them, so keep me posted. So I went through and got a lot of the walkways cleared from what weeds I could find. Tyler came and helped clear out some of the walkways and take some of the vines off of the fence that's growing up here. But yeah, so we got it cleaned up a little bit. I'll show you around. It's nothing pretty quite yet, but obviously springtime it will be. So I got some of my pots up. I just brought them out. It looks pretty. It's a step ahead in the right direction. Cleared out over here because we had a bunch of leaves, and you can see my butterfly waterer needs cleaned, but it's still over there. This one I didn't really get to weeding. There wasn't that many weeds in here though. But but you can see the cabbages that were there from last fall. There's 2, 3 back here, and 4 right here. And then as we're going through the garden, we're finding some stuff that I'm not entirely sure what everything is, but looks like it might be volunteers from last year. This looks like a radish maybe, or a beet, yeah. I got all this cleared out.
Rocky Balboa of cabbages.
And that's our cabbage. That was like the champion of all cabbages from last fall. He's like 4 times the size of the ones in the other bed. Over here we've got a volunteer coming up. Again, I think beet or radish. We'll see what happens there. We figured might as well just leave them and see what they turn into. And then along the fence line, I tried to rake this out. So last year, I'm not sure if we did a video on it, but we found some yarrow growing in the middle of the yard, and we dug them up. I think there was maybe like 6 plants, and I just kind of like planted each one sporadically through here. I didn't realize that yarrow just like takes over. It's literally coming into the fence line now. Like those were just one little tiny plant. So same thing down here along the fence line. The yarrow is just taken over. Our rosemary on either side of the garden gate, if you can see on the other side here, is still doing pretty good. I saw this, and I'm not sure what this is. I did have some flowers and pots over here, Gerber daisies, and I'm not entirely sure, but I feel like that could maybe be one. So if anyone knows what that is. So I left it. I was going to dig it out, but I left it. I figured we'll wait. We've got time and see what it turns into. And then Tyler's cabbages that he put in the ground earlier. What was that, about a week or so ago?
Those ones are like 2 or 3 weeks.
So they're still looking healthy. I mean, we'll
Ish.
see what happens with them. And then we didn't really do much over there today, but I had this gate that I got from Free Cycle locally last year that I thought would be a really good use for, you know, cucumbers or something that would climb. And we had it, I think we tried cucumbers in the garden bed with it last year, but those cucumbers just didn't do well. So I figured I might sprawl it out along this fence line in the back and see if we can plant some stuff in the ground back there, because I know we've got quite a few cucumbers in the works. So we're really just trying to maximize garden space at this point. One of the things that I really wanted to do this year too that I'd heard about was I wanted to grow some tomatoes in straw bales. And so I got 2 of these straw bales here from a local farmer in our area, and I think they were about $7 a piece, but they're pretty big, so we could easily put 2 tomato plants in each. So I wanted to do that as an experiment this year. But I don't think, I was thinking about it, I don't think I'm going to keep them in this area just because there is semi-decent dirt underneath of here that we've worked with. So I might want to use this space to plant stuff depending on how much stuff we have left over from our seed starts. But it was a nice day to get out in the garden and kind of start getting a game plan going. I'm really excited for the next step, which is to start prepping dirt and get stuff in. So that's what I worked on today to get me out of the house and away from the news channel. So I really do, like, I am telling you, if you're looking for something different to try, if you've never tried a garden before, start. It doesn't have to be big, it can just be small. My very first garden bed that I ever had was this one here. I think that's like a 4 by 5 maybe. And I just, you know, I tried. I'll have to see if I can dig up some pictures to put on a video sometime soon, because the actual garden that I had that year was pretty sad. But it was something to do. It, you know, got me started. If you don't have the space, use pots. I'm really excited. I think we're going to put a lot of effort into our pots video this year. We've got plenty of dirt to start and plenty of pots at this point. And we've got a couple of really cool things that I think we're going to try out this year. So keep an eye out for a pot video. If you don't have the space, I mean, you can literally put a tomato plant in a pot and put it in a window, and there you go. You got something going. Same thing with herbs. So if you guys are looking for something to do that would potentially, you know, make you happy, get you out of the house, get you in the sunshine, and at the same time help you grow food, I highly suggest that you guys try gardening. I have to go chase after my dog now. She's going to visit the dog neighbor. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I look forward to sharing more with you soon. Tyler, you want to wave bye over your shoulder? There you go. He's sitting on the dirt. Thank you guys. Take care.